Okay, friends, I want to share with you a halachik ha'ara. Maybe you could shed some light on it. Maybe someone out there could shed some light on it. This week's parsha we read about Makkas Bechoros. We know that every day we're commanded to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim. It's a mitzvah d'oraisa. Laman tizkar yom seischa me'eretz Mitzrayim kol yemei chayecha. We are also commanded to say Birchas Krias Shema. The Shulchan Aruch says in Siman Samach Vav Sif Yud, Kol mi shaloi amar emes v'yatziv shachris v'emes v'amuna arvis lo yatzi dei choyves ha-mitzvah kesikna. Anyone who doesn't say emes v'yatziv shachris and arvis, you're not yotzei the mitzvah in the proper way. Now, the Mishnah Berurah explains, it doesn't mean you're not yotzei Krias Shema at all. The brachos are not ma'akev. It just means that your Krias Shema will not be proper, and you'll have to say it again after davening if you didn't say it before. Now, in other words, even though you'll have to say the Birchas Krias Shema after davening if you didn't say it before davening, and if possible, say Shema again. But then the Mishnah Berurah brings something very interesting. He quotes from the Torah in the name of the Yerushalmi that in emes v'yatziv there are a few key ingredients you have to mention. You have to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim, you have to mention Malchus, you have to mention Krias Yamsuf, and you have to mention Makkas Bechoros. That means part of emes v'yatziv, and the way I understood it at first, part of remembering Yetzias Mitzrayim is it's not only enough to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim, you have to remember the plague of the firstborn every day. Luckily, we do that. We say in Shachris, Kol b'chareim harakta, v'yamsuf bakata, v'zeidim tibata, v'didim harata. We do say and talk about Makkas Bechoros daily. We do talk about Krias Yamsuf daily. Kol b'chareim harakta, uv'charcha ga'alta. Kol b'chareim harakta. This is something that we mention every day. This way, we're able to be makayim the tour that we mentioned, Yetzias Mitzrayim, daily. I want to just read to you the exact lashon that we say. Kol b'chayreihem haragta uv'charcha ga'alta. Fine. Comes the Rashba, and the Mishnah Berurah quotes the Rashba and Birchas Yudalef, D'li'ikuvahu afiyu b'diavad, that it's ma'akev. If you don't talk about Makkas Bechoros, it's ma'akev. You're not yotzei. The way I understood it at first, it means you're not yotzei the mitzvah d'oraisa of zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim. Fine. If that's the case, we know that's late tonight. Almost in every shul, they're going to say Marav too early, right? Nobody's going to have patience to wait around, to wait till it's Vaday Laila to daven Marav. In most shuls, you daven Mincha, you daven Kabbalah Shabbos. It's only 20 minutes after the Shkia, even if the rabbi speaks a couple minutes, so 25 minutes after the Shkia, 30 minutes. It's not 50 minutes. It's not for sure night. Everyone says Shema in shul, so they make an announcement, say Shema again. Okay, so we do. We say Shema again in the nighttime, 3 parshas. But the thing is, do we remember Yetzias Mitzrayim? Yeah, we said the 3rd parsha, and we say Ani Hashem Lekechem Asher Hotzei Eschem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Lios Lachem Le'Elokim. Are we saying that when it's for sure night? Yeah, we are. The Mishnah Berurah even says that that when it comes to Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim, it has to be when it's for sure light. When it's for sure night outside. So my question is, so how are we yotzei the mitzvah of Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim at night? If you have to mention Makkas Bechoros, and if you don't mention Makkas Bechoros, you're not yotzei Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim, then it's very nice when we come home from shul, we say the 3 parshas of Shema, which includes Ani Hashem Lekechem Asher Hotzei Eschem Me'eretz Mitzrayim. But there's no mention of Makkas Bechoros, and the Makkas Bechoros we said in shul was too early. So the same way we repeat Shema, don't we have to repeat the emes ve'emunah? And nobody does that. Nobody says, okay, nobody announces, everyone, when you get home after 5:52, remember to say the 3 parshas of Krias Shema and emes ve'emunah. I mean, you know that in the nighttime we also mention Makkas Bechoros, where we say, Hamake be'evrasoi kol b'choyrei Mitzrayim. So it's very nice you said it in shul, but you said it too early. And according to the Rashba, if you don't say Makkas Bechoros, lo yatsa. And if it's part of Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim, well, you should have to do it when it's definitely night. That's my question. So it was suggested, my friend Rabbi Yehuda suggested, I think he's right. When the Rashba says you have to mention Makkas Bechoros, otherwise you're not Yotzei. Otherwise you're not Yotzei what? You're not Yotzei remembering Yetzias Mitzrayim? Or you're not Yotzei the bracha of emes v'yatziv or the bracha of emes ve'emunah? What the Rashba means is you're not Yotzei the bracha of Krias Shema. You're not Yotzei emes v'yatziv emes ve'emunah. So luckily I said that in shul. So I was Yotzei that bracha. The only thing is now I have to be Yotzei the mitzvah of Yetzias Mitzrayim. I don't have to remember Makkas Bechoros for Yetzias Mitzrayim. I have to remember Makkas Bechoros for the bracha of emes v'yatziv and the bracha of emes ve'emunah. And that I'm allowed to say before it's certainly night, or in the morning, even after the Zman Krias Shema. The only thing is that I'm not so sure about this. Because I saw this morning in Halicha Shloimeh of Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, in page Pei Hey, I believe, Hilchos Krias Shema Birchas, footnote 13, that Rav Shlomo Zalman would tell people, the same way you should have kavanah to be mekayim the mitzvah, right? When you get up to the end of Krias Shema, Ani Hashem Elokechem, ideally you should have a specific kavanah to be mekayim the mitzvah of Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim. So Rav Shlomo Zalman would say, also when you get in emes v'yatziv, kol b'charem haragta, v'yamsuf bakata, v'didim havarta, right? Kol b'charem, right? I think we say it even twice. We say, kol b'charem haragta, uv'charcha ga'alta, v'yamsuf bakata. You should have kavanah to be mekayim the mitzvah of remembering Makkas Bechoros and remembering Krias Yamsuf. He says, even though me'ikar adin, maybe it's enough just to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim, it's still better to be mechavein to remember these things. I'm saying, what? That implies that in order to be mekayim the mitzvah of Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim, you need to remember Makkas Bechoros and you need to remember Krias Yamsuf. Because if it was only in order to be mekayim the bracha of emes v'yatziv or emes ve'emunah, you would have to have a specific kavanah when you remembered Krias Yamsuf and you remembered Makkas Bechoros. So in other words, my dilemma is, this requirement to remember Makkas Bechoros, is it a requirement of Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim? Or is it a requirement of the bracha of emes v'yatziv? Just to end this segment, I'll have one more after this if I could beg your indulgence. There's a Noid Rabbi Yehuda. The Noid Rabbi Yehuda seems to clear this very chakira. What is the inyan of remembering Makkas Bechoros? He says, is it an additional obligation to Yetzias Mitzrayim? Or is it part of the chiyuv of Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim? And the Noid Rabbi Yehuda says, I could understand that Malchus is part of Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim. Like we say in the Gemara Megillah, we say, Hallelu Avdei Hashem v'loi Avdei Paroi. And I could understand that Zechiras Krias Yamsuf is part of Yetzias Mitzrayim. But why Makkas Bechoros? So by the way, on Monday we explained that Makkas Bechoros triggered another aspect of the Exodus. There are two parts of Yetzias Mitzrayim. There's the fact that we don't practically work for Paroi. That was the Geula. We used to work, now we're free. But maybe he's going to come back and get us, because we still have the name of being Avodim to Paroi. So there was a pidyon, there was redemption, where the status of being Avodim was lifted. That came about through Makkas Bechoros. The pidyon came about through Makkas Bechoros. So Makkas Bechoros is an essential element of the pidyon of Yetzias Mitzrayim. But the Rabbi Yehuda says another reason why we need to remember Makkas Bechoros. You know, the pasuk says, "Lo soichal olav chametz," don't eat chametz. Shivas yamim toichal olav matzos, ki bechipazoin yatsasa me'eretz Mitzrayim, leman tizkar yom tzescha me'eretz Mitzrayim kol yemei chayacha. The pasuk that speaks about the remembering that we left Mitzrayim, leman tizkar, speaks about an aspect of the redemption, namely that we left bechipazoin. What does it mean? Why did we leave bechipazoin? It wasn't our own rush, Rashi says. It says, Mitzrayim rushed us out. Why? Because of Makkas Bechoros, they didn't want to all die. So that means an element of Yetzias Mitzrayim was not only that we left, but we left in a hurry. Why did we leave in a hurry? Because of the plague of the firstborn. So since there's an obligation to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim, and part of that obligation is to remember we left in a hurry, and we left in a hurry because of Makkas Bechoros. So Makkas Bechoros was the cause of the hurriedness. And the hurriedness was a critical element of the Yetziah. So this is another reason why Makkas Bechoros would be a very important element of Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim. But this also implies that remembering Makkas Bechoros is not just a obligation of emes v'yatziv, but it's also part of Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim. So, I guess, to sum it up, according to that, if we daven Marav early and we repeat the Krias Shema, but how do we get this detail, which seems to be very essential, of remembering Makkas Bechoros? If I could just beg your indulgence for one more segment.